Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Thanks again so much for tuning in. I am Simmer Chase. Today is episode 5 of our speed build. This one is the Suburban Subdivision 8A house. So we have Suburban Subdivision, which is sort of the neighborhood I envision it going in, and then 8 indicating the number of bedrooms, and then A is the series within the floor plan set. So this is version 1 of the floor plan set. I, again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe in the links below. And go out and do something magical. Stay proud. So first things first is I start out my squares, get everything kind of together. And when I was thinking about this, I really wanted to kind of give them a little porch, but a lot of space in the back to play around with and expand from over time. Maybe, if they have kids and they have a lot of space to work with back there, then, they can really enjoy and maximize the address, not just the house itself, but the lot that it's on. And dormers are becoming a really big trend right now because of the fact that it does add a lot more vertical height to the overall space. So it's fun because it's really important that we remember that it's not how far your eye can travel, but but then also sort of your paint scheme as well, just so that it makes it really light and bright. So it doesn't matter how far, your feet can walk, but how far your eyes can travel. And by making it really bright or adding different room tones and colors, and then maybe painting an accent wall will really kind of create that depth and that illusion of space. So you'll kind of see me do that a little bit here. Right now, I'm just bringing in all the windows, getting in the architectural structure built. And at first, I kind of started going with a 3-story style, but then I was thinking, where's all my amenities going to go? Because right now, this is pretty much just going to be a house with nothing else in it. So I end up deciding, once I get everything kind of squared and situated, that the piece on the left side, sort of that second house of the house, I went ahead and added in a whole nother level. So then I also kind of made it clear that the house went all the way back too. Because when you're in the gallery, the first default photo is just like a 2D sort of elevation photo of it. And I kind of wish that we could switch it and make it maybe our own screenshot of the house, or that maybe we could even do like an isometric view of it, which means that you're looking at it from sort of the plane and the way it goes crossways. So then you can get the depth as well as the height of the structure, and then kind of get to see more of the overall lot, because that's actually the second image. And by then people have already passed on to another lot that's more exciting looking, I've figured out. So it's really, I wish that was one of the opportunities that we had, because a lot of my lots would be better highlighted and featured if we were able to kind of do that. But then again, if you use a custom screenshot, then you're listed as a mod. So you can't do that either. If you want people to actually download it, because then when you see the mod, you're like, oh gosh, I don't have mods, or oh no, I don't have custom content. So I want to make it as accessible as possible. So that's kind of why I end up with just kind of stuck with the default gallery image. So, I really try and make the front curb appeal as exciting as possible. So you're going to see me maybe hit the escape button a couple times, that kind of thing, just so that I can actually go and see what it would look like in the gallery view, because to me, it's important that that's also highlighting the features. And then in this house, I did a 2-tone style, just so that, again, I highlighted the features, which here is like the dormer house, basically, with 8 bedrooms. So it really just kind of gives you that ability and sense of height. And I'm thinking a lot about sort of the history of homes as well when I was making this, because not only is it a new build, I wanted it to feel like a new build. I also wanted it to feel like a new build that was paying respect to an old build. Kind of the houses that I'm seeing in the 2020s, they're kind of emulating a little bit of the styles of the 1910s and 20s, where it's like the Victorian style, which is basically sort of like the maybe farmhouse style at the same point, but it's where it's just got the gable in the front and then like the nice little porch and then it maybe a gable then piece on the side. So it's like a ranch, but then with a gable basically. And it may even be 2 levels. So then it's more like a cottage style Victorian. So with this one, I wanted to go more craftsman style. So you're going to see that big protruding, tall, a wide chimney that's featured heavily in a lot of the 1920s homes. And houses in the 20s, it was a little tricky for them because they had a pandemic with the Spanish flu. They had the Great Depression. And so the roaring 20s in the beginning were really neat because it was all about opulence and kind of creating nice features in a home, and that your home was really an expression of how much money you made and how successful you were. And now in the day, it's like really kind of pivoted a little bit from that to where people just want big space because they're stuck at home, they've got bigger families, or they just need to spread out more because they are working from home or stuck at home often like I am, which is okay. I don't mind that at all. I kind of don't tend to go a lot of places anyway. And so, for me, it was just really important. So to kind of create that illusion with this house. And I like The Sims a lot because it is sort of an illusion. It's a game, it's a simulation. So you get that ability to really play with hypotheticals a lot of like, if this happened, what would this be like? Or for instance, like children, when you go house shopping, they want to go pick their bedroom. Well, in this house, everybody gets a bedroom and you can go pick it because that's important. When I was growing up, like my parents went and looked at houses and my sister and I would run off and look at bedrooms, but that's mine or that's mine. But then that wasn't the house they chose. We ended up bunking with our siblings. So she was with my sisters, I was with my brother, and that's kind of the way it went. I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so I really respect the bigger houses and really appreciate them because I unfortunately didn't get that opportunity. And so I really like to fantasize about like, what if I had grown up in a large house? Or what if I had all this like extra space, then? And I ended up buying like a larger house in my adult life that has several rooms and things like that, just because I didn't really get that when I was a kid. And it's a 4-square, it's an old craftsman style house. So a lot of the features that I have in real life, I like to incorporate in my builds. So you're going to see the really tall sort of vaulted ceilings when I take out the floors of the dormers, and how I create the amenity spaces or like the common area spaces where you're going to be able to socialize and gather with a large group or family and that sort of thing. And this house, actually, I skipped doing like a formal dining room because I felt like this house, like you could do one, like obviously it would definitely work out, but I wanted to make more room and area for people to hang out and visit and maybe have informal dining a little bit, because I think it's more about bringing the people together to eat and not necessarily where you're eating or how you're eating. And so that's why this doesn't have a dining room table. And because I figured that, you could go eat at the bar and that some of the kids or people might want to eat separately but together. So you've got a lot of different areas to eat, socialize, visit, and entertain. Because like when, people come out to your house, if you have a few guests, you would want to go to the bar and visit, or go to the island and chitty chat at the kitchen. Maybe you'd want to go to the living room and watch a movie with everybody, or something on YouTube, for instance. And so I think that it's really important to just kind of give Simmers that ability to sort of use those features, because the dining room is really easy to just toss in this plan if you wanted to. I just thought that, this would be even more fun to kind of give people a little bit of flexibility. So now we're getting the outside lighting done. I really kind of went the extra mile with the exterior lighting on this one, just because I've noticed from the gallery, people want to be able to see the house day and night really well. And in real life, I do have estate lighting a little bit where it shines up and above. And with The Sims, the estate lighting, you can't really have it in the ground and then have it shine up all the way to the second floor and have it look realistic. So I popped in a bunch on the roof line, and on the roof, to create that design style here on the second and third floors. And then also, I then start just kind of, poking through, getting everything together on the style, getting the porch set up and done. I have nifty knitting. I love it. There's a lot of critics, but there's always going to be, you can make something amazing and people still are, will find something, and that's okay, because there's just some people that makes them happy to be critical, and that's fine. But for me, I'm more of like the positive type. So I try and find the diamond in the rough with everything. So I have all the packs. I feel it's important to kind of contribute to my community however I can in the game, but then also to kind of contribute to actual real world money and to let people know when I recognize something's great. So I may subscribe to a channel, or I may buy the pack that's kind of iffy, or what I've seen is iffy. And then it's a little unfortunate too at times, because people, they will go and just kind of really chastise about the content, because we get these leaks, or we get these sort of voting and that sort of stuff, so people just really put it up heavy in their mind, and then when we get it, it's not exactly what they were thinking. But then over time, it just kind of grows on you too, so I feel like some people rush to do a review because they want to be one of the first to get a review out. But I think it's really important too to be able to play with it a little bit and then really actually see how much you're going to use it, because it's easy to say, well, I'm not going to use this that much. But then as you're used to using every other object before it often, you're kind of looking for some new content, creativity, kind of to spark your imagination again. So that's why I really like the content. And a lot of it does really play well together too, even though it might not at first seem that way. Now, the only thing I do wish is that we did have, like with the wood and maybe some of the furniture and stuff, that we had universal paint swatches. It doesn't have to be like a whole color picker sort of thing. I just wish that like the espressos all matched, the blacks were the same, that sort of thing in terms of the wood tones, because sometimes I do want to be able to use like some mid-century content from City Living, but then also the mid-century content from the Tiny Living pack. And then unfortunately, they don't end up kind of meshing because of the colors more than anything. So if there's any one thing besides the skin tones and the realism of the skin textures, I would really love to be able to have the universal paint swatches as well. And for me, it's just all about trying to make it as realistic and cohesive as possible. So I'm just about done here with the first floor. I was having a little bit of issue trying to get all the lighting to really pop, but I think a lot of it too was because I didn't really have any Sims in the space. So now we're chunking out all the bedrooms, kind of getting all that together here. I then kind of start messing with the exterior a little bit more on the facade, just to make sure that I could get some windows in the hallways, because no one wants a dark hallway. It's a big downer for the Sims. They just kind of act like, I'm not gonna deal with that hallway, or they'll go and like their mood lit thing will just plummet. They're like, oh, this is poorly decorated, or this is poorly lit. And so it's like, okay, well, here you go, some lights and some windows. So that's why I ended up kind of adding in that middle window there at first. I didn't really want to, because I felt like this house had a ton of windows. But then again, like, who doesn't like a lot of windows anyways? Because like it does add in a lot of light, give you a lot of good view of maybe your property or neighborhood. And so I think it's just really important to kind of have that feature here as well. And with the house, I end up just going through, I always do an assembly line process when it comes to my rooms. For my bathrooms, for instance, they're the only ones I'll actually go one tile down first, because, or pick like the flooring for it. Sometimes it maybe wood too, but generally I go with tile because I think that's more realistic in real life. So I, go in and add in my materials and things that I think will match and that kind of stuff before I put in my lighting, because I want my tubs and stuff to kind of have a sconce or a pendant light over it. And then I want to be able to give like my room a lot of light, but I don't want it to impede with the door or to not make sense over where I'm putting it. Like maybe I want it to make sure it's centered or that it's kind of positioned above not above the toilet because no one likes that. Having a giant UFO light over top of you, like when you're just trying to, make your primary investment. So I end up going through and popping all that in first. So then I can then go back and add the lighting then where I'm hoping to position it. And then after that, then I get to use the new, I love them. You like don't even know, like, love the new like super subtle saucers because it saves so much time in the game by being able to plop those things down without having to go and reduce the size twice on that. So that's one fun thing. Now, what would be even better though is if when you could select by eyedrop on a game piece, like whether it be any of them, and you change the size of it, that if you copy it with that eyedropper, that it then maintains that same size. Because you're still, if you're trying to use, say, a piece that is different there, where you're like, oh, I want to make this painting different, but then I want to plop the same painting down, but maybe a different swatch, but I want to keep that size, that I would then be able to go to the eyedropper, click that, and then select my painting. It would copy it and put it back over wherever I want to put it. But then I could then change the swatch only and not have to reduce it by like 1 or 2, depending, or up even. Sometimes I take the smaller pieces. There's a lot of really fun smaller pieces that I like that actually look really good in 4K resolution that are tiny or little. And I'm like, this painting doesn't get done justice because it's so little you can barely see it. So then I may like upscale it a couple times just to make sure that it's really big. So now I'm just finishing up my assembly process on the common space. And as I kind of said before, I do like being able to create a cohesive feel, which is, very much what I'm about. I like to go in and add in all this extra furniture and extra things to just kind of make it match as much as possible. But as you'll see there with that desk and that dresser, while they may seem like the same color from the item picker, they are not the same size. So it's a little frustrating because they're just not quite the same color, even though they're similar style. And it looks the same, but then once you actually get it in the game, then you're like, oh, that color is slightly off. So like if it's a lighter tone, like if it's just slightly off, I may go ahead and leave it. But otherwise, I'm just like, nope, got to change it. So it just kind of depends on how it is. But now I'm going ahead and getting all my lighting in over all of my beds. And then you'll see me go back and do artwork. But it's always kind of the same process for me as I build, so that I don't really forget anything. But then also so that I make sure that it's just not duplicated. I don't want to make any 2 bedrooms or bathrooms the exact same, even when it comes to like a public bathroom or bedroom, or not bedroom, but a public bathroom or a public like workroom space or that sort of stuff. I don't want anything to ever be a duplicate. I want it all to feel original and different, unique. But then maybe the bedroom and the bathroom kind of correlate a little bit as well. So it might have like a general theme between the two. So that's kind of why you're seeing some of the colors that you are here, because some of them are more bold and punchy, and maybe steered towards one specific type of appeal or of things that people have different tastes, So they're gonna kind of accommodate a wide range of tastes and preferences. So now we're getting in all of our, and as I was saying before, that's kind of what I was doing there, was just kind of making sure that this all fit. So you're going to see a lot of the art, but you're going to see it and be like, oh, wow, that's what that looks like, because it's bigger, or because I shrunk it down a little bit so that we could use it. Because there are some pieces that are just ginormous, and I was just like, oh, I can't be like that. I can't use that because it's just too big. But now, with the ability to resize it, it makes it better. So what I did there actually is funny, but I counted the bedrooms and was like, oh, this doesn't need to be a bedroom. Woohoo! So what I end up doing is making all of this up here on the third floor, just sort of like that attic design, you know, where it can just be like the free for all. So it gives you a lot of space to be able to have a lot of different things in here. And what I ended up doing was thinking, well, what if this person's like a YouTuber or a model and they're trying to work from home? Like, where are they going to do it? You know, so I thought this would be fun to have it in the attic, to be able to give them the ability to kind of work from home in their attic. So there's a lot of amenity space up here to be able to do a lot. You're going to be able to bowl. You're going to be able to play video games. You're going to be able to shoot a photo shoot. And you're also going to have the ready room. So you can actually get your makeup done, your hair done, all that stuff done, and get all bougied up, and then go get a photo shoot or go record a video. So you're going to see a lot of those pieces come in here in a minute. And now I'm just kind of finalizing up the bowling area. I just thought it'd be really fun because I think a lot of people do like to bowl, but they're either embarrassed to go bowl and lose, or, you know, with the pandemic and everything, it's sanitary to go bowl. Like, how often are those bowling balls cleaned? You know, that sort of thing. So, and the shoes, like, everything's just so, like, if you're not bringing your own stuff, I could see how it would be kind of scary a little bit. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of, you know, pay respect to that right now and kind of have the ability to have your own at-home bowling alley. So now I'm just kind of like, that's the thing here with dormers, is you actually have to leave the walls up, but the floor or the roof down, so that you can actually see into the spaces. So you're going to see me get like nitty gritty down in there and tight into the space, just so that I can overall see like what it is and what's on the wall, because you can't really see it very well because the way that the like when you drop the walls down, or then when you do the walls that like the breakaway walls where they just kind of let you see in, it doesn't really work in dormers very well. It just makes them disappear. So you have to have the walls up. So that's kind of how I got the content in there. And so now I'm just putting together our fun little media area space, getting all that together. It was a lot of fun to be able to put this house together, but then once I got up here, it was just so much fun because I was like, oh my gosh, we have so much content now to be able to do like a variety of things. Like, you could make it a crafter's space, or you could make it a space for people to really kind of express themselves, and also their simmers. So people can really just take this space and do whatever they want with it, which is what I really like to create, is to kind of give people a little carrot, and leave some breadcrumbs behind as to what I think I would use the space for, or what I'm going to use the space for my Sims. But with this one, I kind of went that way, but then thought, you know, like, anybody could fit a lot of different things in this floor plan if they so chose. So now I'm just going back through and putting in all of my toilet paper, which is mucho importante, very important, to get all that put in, and then also to get in all the little towels, a little bit of clutter. And I just circle around and make sure that everything's there and that it feels like a home for you and your Sims. And that it's something worth looking at and enjoying for hours on end. Because, you know, some of us really invest a lot of time. I think I have like quite a lot of time. Like, I will definitely say it's a lot. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the channel and checking everything out. I hope you guys have a great day and go out and do something magical.